Hello dear viewers, time again for the news here on Rwanda Television with me, Serish Nhore. We'll begin with the headlines. The monthly Umuganda community work has taken place countrywide here in Rwanda. Heavy rainfall has fallen in Musanze district of Rwanda's northern province, claiming one life and causing widespread destruction. Now the details. I hope you're having a great weekend. Because our district residents appreciate that the Umuganda community work enables them to align efforts to development, for development activities that they cannot do on their own as individuals. This was noted on Saturday as the Minister of Local Government, Jean-Claude Musabyimana, together with members of the diplomatic corps here in Rwanda, joined them in Umuganda community work. We have the details with Prince Mansi.
The Umuganda community work included cleaning and introducing latrine across the Kidashya-Bweravura road that is 2.3 kilometers long. There's a lot of dust and it affects passengers and drivers. When you enter the city, they tell where you're coming from. When it is rainy, the dust becomes wet and you reach the city dirty as well. Preparing it like this will facilitate drivers and will also be in our benefit too. This Umuganda community work was also participated in by various high commissioners of countries of Angola, Zimbabwe, Morocco, Senegal, Mozambique, Algeria, Burundi, Kenya and the Republic of Congo in Rwanda. Youssef Imani, the Moroccan ambassador to Rwanda and the head of diplomatic corps, reiterates that Umuganda is of a great value.
C'est un concept que j'admire. C'est un concept certes ancestral.
Umuganda is an activity that I like, that is usual in the Rwanda culture. But thanks to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Kagame, Umuganda was highly valued and modernized. Every Rwandan plays his part with the aim of developing the well-being of their fellow citizens. In only an hour, we were able to prepare this road. If we could learn on Umuganda as countries, it would be beneficial. The Minister of Local Government, Jean-Claude Musabyimana, points out that Umuganda community work is one of the ways of finding own solutions towards the country's development. He also urged the residents to adopt the self-reliance culture. The culture of self-reliance as a country, but also every Rwandan has to adopt the culture of self-reliance. You say that most of you are employees in industries and elsewhere. This is part of self-reliance in economy. On the issue raised by residents on lack of water in some regions, Minister Musabyimana told them that in the next year's budget, they will include supply of water in those regions. In the first phase of introducing an asphalt road in a region commonly known as Mamakawa, residents' contribution was worth $1 billion and 200 million. In the second phase, their contribution will be $1 billion and 700 million. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Staying with the Umuganda, residents from different parts of Kigali city find the government's support to their involvement in building infrastructure as being one of the ways for the rapid completion of certain activities. Shina Teta with more.
Construction works of tarmac roads has become familiar to residents of various villages in the city of Kigali since the last 5 years, in such a way that leaders and residents of Gakoni village in Nyabugogo sub-district in Kigali started construction works of roads of 6.2 kilometers. The administrator of Gakoni village, Eliezer Niyorugira, says the willingness of residents provides hope that the started construction works will be completed in time.
Our goal is to construct roads of 6.2 kilometers in this area. We shall start with 2 kilometers and the project will cost $1 billion and 300 million, with 30% from residents and 70% from the government. There's hope that the project will be completed by the end of 2024.
In addition, residents of different villages in Kagarama sector of Kicukiro district have also engaged in similar activities to build tarmac roads of 5 kilometers. The village administrator of Rugunga in Miyange sector, Ignatius Kawagambe, expresses that essential is informing residents about the benefits of such a development project.
We were the first ones to mobilize 160 million Rwanda francs to finance the project. It is essential that residents understand the benefits of such a project, given it is an investment.
The vice mayor in charge of urbanization and infrastructure in the city of Kigali, Melad Mhabwanamaguru, says the city administration has decided to support the construction of these infrastructures, which the residents have participated for their sustainability.
It is necessary that we support our citizens so as to construct infrastructures for sustainable use. On SPAT, we are constructing 13.2 kilometers of roads, and citizens have so far contributed approximately 1 billion Rwanda francs. We contribute 70%, adding to their 30% contribution.
Rwanda has always put effort in construction of roads in its provinces and the city of Kigali. The government's support towards residents' involvement in construction of roads serves as impetus to urbanization. Shinateta, RTV News.
Now, over the past few years, Rwanda has emerged as a dynamic hub for innovation and development in Africa, attracting global attention for its progressive policies and commitment to sustainability. In the heart of this transformation, Volkswagen has taken up the mantle, spearheading transformative projects that are reshaping the automotive landscape and driving social and economic progress. In an exclusive interview with the chairperson of the Volkswagen South Africa Group, we discussed current initiatives being implemented to realize the development of the industry in this country.
You signed an MOU with the Ministry of Agriculture of bringing electric tractors in Rwanda. How far with the program? When is it supposed to start? And how is it going to benefit in general?
So the concept is all laid out. With the signature of the MOU, we got the land from the Rwandan government, which we are very thankful for, and the government is very supportive. And now we start building. So we start setting up the solar panels. We start setting up it's a little like a hall, like our startup hub. The tractors are ready and can function. So it's now ramping up and materializing. And as we always like to test things in Rwanda because the policies in Rwanda are very accommodating for trying out new things. So I think it's a very kind of wise decision of the country to see kind of also look into the future and not stick to the present. So what we hope to pilot with all the partners involved is really how does that whole ecosystem work in terms of energy generation, not only for the e-tractors, but energy generation potentially also for communities who are off the grid currently. So is the scooter, is that the right means to provide mobility? How will this hub with connectivity, how will this be used? Can we add other meaningful services or features to the hub when it comes to farming communities? And does it in total benefit communities? And of course, we also need to figure out who in the future could buy this, could buy the whole ecosystem, and how does it work? But if we find something like a business case, and the use case works well, I think we can benefit many rural communities, not only in Rwanda, but in other African regions as well.
Speaking of the initiatives being currently initiated in Rwanda, what are the more initiatives that you plan to initiate in Rwanda? Now we have an assembly plant, but what's more coming?
So we want to participate in the tender for the airport project as providing services as soon as the new airport is up and running in Kigali. We increase our fleet in our mobility fleet in Mobility Solutions Rwanda, which is our subsidiary. So with that also employ more people as drivers, for example, in the mobility fleet. We also move more and more into electric in the fleet in Rwanda. To not fully replace combustion engine vehicles, but with the policy in Rwanda for electric vehicles, that is a very good opportunity for us. We do this whole Gen Farm project now as a start, so we'll first conclude our up and running projects, I would say.
One last question. Do you see a promising future of the automotive industry on the African continent?
Very much so. I'm very passionate about not helping to develop, but helping to grow the automotive industry on the African continent. African Continental Free Trade Agreement is a fantastic framework, not only for automotive, but for many industries. If really the country manages to unite somehow and act as one Africa, let's say, to a certain extent. And automotive is for sure one of the bigger opportunities within that. Important is that to find a place for all the countries. So, and that's also not only talking to automotive industry, but to all industries. So everybody must start also talking with the neighboring countries, kind of who's doing what and what share, and how can I participate as a country or whatever. So, but I see a huge opportunity, and African automotive market is the last frontier. So, if there is growth in the automotive industry, I see it in Africa. Other markets are almost matured. So we compete, and then probably I'll get a car which is like from another competitor, but like really growth happens in Africa.
We hope to see it coming to reality soon.
Yeah, in Rwanda you will see everything coming to reality soon because the environment is quite accommodating. So, and we love to really work there and cooperate there.
RBA's Olive Nete speaking to the chairperson of the Volkswagen South Africa Group in Jura in that interview. Now moving on, as we noted in the headlines, heavy rainfall has fallen in Musanze district in the northern province, claiming one life and causing widespread destruction. We have the details with Prince Manzi.
In Gakoro Cell, Gachacha sector is one of the areas affected by the floods resulting from waters from mountains that destroyed properties. The residents say that they are in need of support and add that the reason for the disasters is the water draining systems directing waters from mountains that are not well built. Those who started the project of water paths did not do it well, and they did not provide compensations for residents across the area, hence the flow of waters that damaged properties. What we want is that the government institutions reach here and the entrepreneurs construct well the water draining system and compensate for residents across the area, because this is a development infrastructure, we cannot deny it. In Gakoro Cell, there are recorded 100 citizens who are to be compensated for their lands in which the water draining system will be built in. The waters come from volcano mountains, pass through the Chanya village in Ichube sector and pass under the road to Gakoro Cell and find ways in lands of citizens because of lack of proper draining system. The mayor of Musanze district, Janviera Muri, states that they have basic support including bed sheets and were given to citizens affected by the disasters in the time. They are still waiting on the support of the ministry in charge. Including that area of Gakoro Cell, the Rwanda Water Board visited it, and the only solution is for digging other holes holding waters from mountains, reduce their speed, and the rest flow towards the constructed draining system. Currently, we have recorded families, and we are counting the required quantity of food and other essentials, and they will soon be given to residents, and they are also looking on how to support them in renting. In the provisional recordings, there were recorded 13 families affected by the disasters resulting from heavy rainfalls with thunder that hit a 15-year-old in Inyanja sector and deceased on scene. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources has noted that the government of Rwanda needs youth research projects in order to help solve some of the problems that are facing the agricultural sector. This was noted during the final pitching and awarding of the Imari Agri Challenge, an initiative aimed at supporting the youth in the agricultural sector. Prince Manzi continues.
The awarded were 15 out of 30 projects selected from more than 1,000 registered, and each was awarded with 10 million Rwanda francs. The Rwanda Drone Innovation was named the best pitched, and it is a project that introduces science and technology for modernized farming. These youth say that they are willing to provide solutions to the agriculture sector through their innovations.
These 10 millions will help us in expanding our production through introduction of new equipment and ease or market strategies, and reach out to farmers as well as giving them a market to their products. As youth, our role is to implement what we gain at school, our skills.
As youth, our role is to implement what we gain at school and our skills. The Imali Agri-Challenge is an initiative of the Imbuto Foundation in the partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources. The Director General of Imbuto Foundation, Sandrine Mutoni, states that Imbuto Foundation prioritizes supporting the youth as they are the drivers of the transformation in the agriculture sector.
Our organization, the Imbuto Foundation, strongly believes in engaging, educating, and empowering our emerging visionaries, the youth, to drive the transformation of this sector and our country at large. Therefore, the Imali Agribusiness Challenge was launched to provide a platform for inventive young minds from across the country to contribute to the agriculture sector and environmental conservation.
The Ministry of Youth outlines that the projects pitched are not for only supporting the agriculture sector, but also creating jobs to many. The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Ildefonso Musafiri, states that innovation is the only solution to the issues hindering the development of the agriculture sector.
Climate change, soil erosion, water scarcity, population density, these are only solutions we have. It's innovation and it's adaptability. At least our youth, that I would have to thank again, have shown that innovation is possible. So the innovation and adaptability is our only solution that we can bring, and it has to be through youth. As many said here, 70% of our population, that's the part of the population that matters, that we are focusing on them.
The agriculture sector comprises 37% of the Rwanda's exports and 35% of the country's GDP. The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources reveals that such initiatives are for demonstrating for the youth the opportunities available in this sector. Prince Madzi, RwandaTV News.
During a ceremony to remember and honor pastors and other Christians of the St. Etienne Anglican Church in the Kigali Diocese that were killed during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, the Minister of Local Government, Jean-Claude Musabyimana, requested churches and religions in general to fight against genocidal ideologies in every respect. Sheena Teta with more.
Christians, together with individuals whose families that went to St. Etienne Church and were killed during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, have remembered their loved ones in consideration of their legacy.
I remember many people, but especially my father, who is among the founders of this parish. He was also killed during the 1994 genocide on the 7th April when it started, and he died with my brother, his wife, and their 3 children.
It is a significant day for us survivors and to the next generations as well, because it is when Rwandans were killed due to how they were created. The administrator of the Anglican Church of Rwanda at the Diocese of Kigali, Bishop Nathan Amoti Rusengo, says that remembering is an important pillar when it comes to preserving the history of the genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi, but also an opportunity to comfort the survivors.
We value such an act because remembering is one of the gifts given to human being by God. We have many pastors that we lost during the genocide in the cathedral and in the compound as well. We remember to comfort those who lost their loved ones, as well as remembering to also build ourselves.
Jean-Claude Musabyimana, the Minister of Local Government, has requested churches and religions to fight against genocide ideology because it is everyone's responsibility.
The message we deliver is that striving for a good thing is every Rwandan's responsibility, whether you're a believer or non-believer. Fighting against the genocide ideology is everyone's responsibility, attributing all we have achieved to the good governance that we have.
76 people were Christians here at St. Etienne's Cathedral, the now headquarters of the Diocese of Kigali of the Anglican Church of Rwanda, are recorded to have been killed during the 1994 genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi. Sheena Teta, RTV News.
That is the end of the news, but not the end of programs here on Rwanda Television. So stay with us and goodbye.